Pattern recognition. This is something that I feel like is very, very important because, again, you really only need one of these, and it's only going to be this one or it's going to be this one, right? We have the pump coil dump and the dump coil pump, and they're two distinct patterns. When you mix the two, then it gets tricky because, again, we are traders and trading is a business. So we need to find something that sticks out and really sticks. So if you're trying to memorize two patterns at the same time, it will not work as uh, more, I guess, effective as if you were to study one pattern and it's either going to be this pattern. Now memorize it, or this pattern, the dump coil pump. Now, these patterns are distinct because they start from two different things. They can start from a lower low for a pump coil dump, or it can be a higher high for a dump coil pump. Regardless, only study one if you want to be successful. If you want to have something and be able to gather enough data for it to stick for a long time to where you don't need nothing else, one pattern is the way to go, right? So it's just like you see in Stacey's videos. His friends trading trap and shifts. He's not trading everything under the sun. Stacey prefers pump coil dumps. He's not trading everything under the sun. Traders are trading every single day. But smart money traders are waiting for their pattern to show up during the week. So that's important. Pick one side and stick to it, and only stick to that. I come across a lot of traders who are coming to me frustrated and confused and saying, Stacey's confusing, and I just need somebody that I can learn from that's only going to teach me one thing and break it down. And well, here it is. But I'm going to tell you that it doesn't matter how simple I break something down, that's not going to stop your behavior. I can't change who you are, but I can lead you in the right direction. So it's going to start with this video. Pattern recognition. You're either a sell trader or a buy trader. You have to choose. Think about it. A lot of important people or successful people in this industry, some of them only trade one chart. That should say something. So find something that sticks out to you, something that you can recognize. So again, we have a pump coil dump starting with a lower low, right? So if I know my pattern starts with a lower low, we're going to have a pump first, then a coil, and inside of this coil, we're going to get lower lows here and here, right? So the lower low starts the pattern, right? The pump, the coil. But in the inside, the inside lower low, the lower lows in the inside start your trade pattern. Now you're getting ready to enter, but you need to see these lower lows in the inside to get your trade pattern, because inside of this pattern, there's going to be another one from a lower low in the inside. That's what that is. So lower low starts to trade, pump, coil. In the inside of the pump, you're going to get lower lows in the inside. That will start your trade pattern back down to where the pump started. Same thing for a higher high. If you're looking for buy setups, higher highs are going to start your trade. You're going to dump back down, coil sideways inside of the dump. There will be higher highs, which will start your trade pattern. Dump back down to the low, coil. You may see pin hammers. You may see engulfings. But either way, as long as you stick to the pattern, you will be fine. But what people do is they get in the live market and then all their rules just go right out the window, and then they try to justify why they're not seeing their pattern and they settle for less. So if I was looking for trap traders, you want to trade trap and shift. So if you're looking for trap traders, then you need to see trap traders. If you're looking for a sell, you need to see trap buyers above, right? If you're looking for trap sellers and you're trying to buy, then you will probably see it down here somewhere, but it depends on what signal you're trading. So I wouldn't think of it like that. A trap and shift is a pattern. That's what a trap and shift is. It's a pattern that you trade. So just scrolling down, what is pattern recognition? The ability to see your setup play out over and over and knowing what usually happens next. It's the ability to see the pump coil dump and the dump coil pump, and you have to put in reps. Just like anything else, you need to literally study these, take these over and over and over again until it's the only thing that you can see. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is by giving yourself an allotted amount of time. Give yourself maybe, I would say, about 30 to 90 days to really lock in the setup. And it's either going to be, again, pump coil dump or dump coil pump. Okay, so read this over and over and over again, because it's not about whatever you're thinking in your head. You're going to win, you're going to lose. The point of a strategy is for you to have edge. Edge does not mean 100% correct. Edge means you have an edge, meaning you have a potential to be profitable. You have an edge. So you need to figure out what pattern that you want to trade, study that pattern so you can achieve the ability of pattern recognition, so that when you hop in these markets live time, you'll be able to spot them and be confident in it. That's important. And that's why people don't see success, because they think that they can trade every day and trade everything under the sun and also have terrible risk management while also trying to trade two setups and think that they're going to be able to be profitable within 2 weeks. Everything about what I just said is irrational. It's irrational. You have to treat trading like a business and say, okay, I need an edge. I don't need something that's 100%. All right. But if I have an edge, I'll let my risk management do the talking. So, boom, let's scroll down and let's see, what are the patterns? Well, we have sell setups and we have buy setups. Again, this little squiggly line is you're either choosing one side or the other. There's no mixing the two. Choose one side, especially if you're starting off. There's a lot of beginners in here. You have two. This is the trap and shift. So let me write this down. I'll say right here, trap and shift. And then this is everybody knows this pattern, the pump and dump. These are the two variations of the sell setups. Mind you, that you can have a trend trade, I'm just going to say T, or a reversal trade for this one, and technically for this one. Why? Because if you're entering here, which is usually my starter entry, if you're entering somewhere right there, that's a starter. But then you'll be taking a reversal trade, right? So say we're already on this backside and I enter here. Well, I could just be entering a trend trade right there, right? So not only do you have two patterns to look for sell setups, you also have two two versions of it. You're either looking for the trend or the reversal. But this is why I tell people that you need to study one and stick to it, because think about it. This is probably a pattern that you're going to use for the rest of your life. If you resonate with it and it really does work out for you. So choose one. This is a sell, or you can take buys, right? So we have the trap and shift here. Trap and shift. We also have, we have the dump and pump. Now, buy setups, again, can come in two different versions. It can be the trap and shift or the dump and pump. Not only that, but again, you have trends or reversals for this one. So say my session starts off somewhere in here, right? Let me get my highlighter out. Say your session starts somewhere in here, from here to here. This, you'd be taking a reversal trade, right? And notice higher high in the inside. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. It's just you're getting tricked up in the live time and you're forgetting that you are hunting a pattern. You're not looking for a trade. You're hunting your pattern. And you need to know that it starts with the higher high, it dumps down, and it has higher highs in the inside, and which usually starts your trade pattern. So study these. Again, the trap and shift, you're going to see a higher high started, and then it's going to dump down to a level, and it's going to immediately reverse. This is usually, so let me go back to this one. This is usually your starter. And then this is usually a trend trade, right? But either way, choose one side because that's what's going to help you in the long run, not in the short run. People that are taking both setups at the same time and expecting quick profits, they're going to get quick results, which means quicker burnout, right? We want something that's going to last. So study this one or study this one and then take off. Like, don't look at anything else. Stop looking at a bunch of videos that contradicts what your setup is. Because Stacey can preach all day and night that these are 90-10 setups. But the more that you add what you want into a strategy that's already proven, that 90-10 setup becomes a 60-40, becomes a 50-30, becomes a 30-10, whatever, however you want to say it. But it's not what it is when you're not trading how you're supposed to trade it. So I hope that helped. And again, we are either taking buys or sells. This side is buys, this side is sells. So just to illustrate again, if I'm looking for reversals and I'm looking for either a buy, so in this case, it's a buy, right? Then I'm looking for a lower high that fails. It fails, and it's usually at a level. Remember, we're only taking our trades from levels. So as soon as I see this lower high that fails, I draw it across. Draw that across. So remember, the higher high is going to start the trade. Then you're going to dump down. Boom. Okay. Then as soon as that lower high fails, draw that across. Now look what you have. Higher highs in the inside. The higher highs start the trade. Dump back down to the break of structure level. It doesn't always do this, but it doesn't matter because I'm looking for something specific. So if me personally, because this is part of my rules, if it doesn't do this, then I'm taking a trend trade. If I don't see a trend trade, then I'm not taking it because again, I need something that is solid rules for me to stick to. My rules are something that's proven in the market. So the more I deviate from that, the more trades I'm going to take that are not A plus, A plus plus, or A triple plus setups. So find the rules, write them down, stick to them. There's no exception. Stop trying to find different things to validate why your trade isn't working out and just move on from the chart. It's not worth it. So again, reversal trade for a buy low setup. We have a regular dump coil pump. Higher high starts the trade. We dump down, right? Draw that higher low that failed across. Higher highs in the inside for the dump coil pump. And that's all there is to it. Now let's go to the other side, the sell side, which is my side. This is a regular pump and dump pattern. So if I'm looking for the reversal trade, right, then I'm drawing the higher low that failed. That is my break of structure level. So what I do know about price is that if we're transitioning from an uptrend to a downtrend, what does price need to do? A higher low needs to fail. That's like it's going to fail if we're reversing. Boom. I draw that line across. Now, what do I need to see? Lower lows in the inside of the pump, right? We have our pump. We clearly are going sideways. Inside of the coil, you're going to get lower lows. Draw that lower high, that higher low that failed across. A lot of the times, it's going to retest it, and that's what I look for. And notice that the lower low in the inside starts my trade back down. So this is what a reversal looks like. And this is what a dump coil pump looks like. But these are reversal trades. So let's scroll down and let's see what they look like if you were taking a trend trade, because they would literally look like the same thing. The only difference if you're taking a trend trade is that you're already on the back side of the move. So say our session opened up somewhere in here, right? We already see the dump, we already see the coil, we got the higher highs, and we've already reversed. So at this point, it's just me looking for these, right? I'm looking for these or I'm looking for these. I need to buy low. I'm either breaking out, a higher high is starting the trade. I'm dumping back down to the breakout level, and then I'm continuing to the upside, or, right, I am retesting a higher low, buying low, in continuation to go up. I'm either buying a higher low or I'm buying the breakout level. All right. So again, dump coil pump. This is the side where it's already happening. It's in the expansion leg, right? It's on the back side of this move. So we're buying up with the confluence that a higher high started our trade. We already have higher highs on the inside. We've already dumped, coiled, and pumped. And notice that's the higher low, the lower high that failed. A confluence on confluence on confluence. That just makes me more confident. Now, confluence doesn't mean that could be part of your rules. Confluence is supposed to make you more confident in your trades. It's not supposed to decide whether you're entering or not. Because a lot of the times people will pull out a fib and then be like, okay, my trade is not being validated because my rules are not working out. But they'll try to put a fib up there and be like, okay, but it's right on this fib level, and boom, boom, boom. But that's not part of your rules. Everything, indicators, those are all confluence, but your rules stay the same. So all on 15-minute time frame. What I'm doing on a 15-minute time frame is I'm starting off there and I'm looking at price, but as soon as price gets to that level, then I'm dropping back down to my 3-minute chart, my entry time frame, and I'm doing the timings, levels, behavior, price. That's when I start breaking stuff down. I start looking at higher highs, lower lows in the inside, right? But as far as analysis goes and me seeing, okay, what's price doing? As soon as I get to the chart, it's on the 15-minute. 15-minute, then I drop down to the 3 and the 5 when I'm getting ready to enter. But I'm going to show like 3 to 4 examples on the chart after this. Just let me get through like breaking this down on a whiteboard first, because I want people to understand before I go to the chart. So that's the example for a buy. For a sell, if we're on the back side already, because it's still the same pattern as the first pattern that we saw, right? But it's just on the back side. You've already got the pump. You've got the coil, the lower lows, right? Higher low that failed. Draw it across. Notice that in this inversion, right, this higher low, it doesn't necessarily just break down lower. It kind of breaks back in and does this. Doesn't matter. Look what your lower highs are doing. If I'm on the back side, I need my lower highs to not invalidate. It cannot fail. And as long as these are not failing, I'm still following my rules. So would I take it here? Possibly, because all I need is for my lower highs to not fail. So after I get my lower highs, if we're taking a trend trade, what am I doing? I'm literally just taking break and retest trades, or I'm entering off of a lower high. Either way, there's no way that I'm going to stay in a trade that's being invalidated. I'm just not, because I know what a downtrend looks like and I know what an uptrend looks like. It's just simple market structure. But when you combine it into your setup, it becomes so powerful because you're literally studying the behavior of price. It's not even just the setup. You're literally mastering how to break down market structure in the simplest form. So when you, like I said, just combine that with your setup and you'll be golden. So let's scroll down and let's look at trap and shifts. Trap and shifts are very, very, honestly, I feel like it's so easy to recognize because they always look the same, and it's very just, it sticks out at you. So let's say that this is a level, right? Let's say that this is the previous day's low. What you'll see is you'll see some type of consolidation, right? You'll see a consolidation, but notice that the trade starts with a higher high. It's going to start with a higher high. You immediately dump back down. When you see price going vertical in your session before it opens, a lot of the times it's going to create a V bottom. That is a peak formation. When you see V bottoms or even W's at the low, or it can be, shortened W's or elongated W's, doesn't matter. They're peak formations. Highlight that, because really you don't want to trade against the peak formation. So if you see a V shape going into a previous daily level, make sure you mark that, because you don't want to trade against it. So higher high starts the trade. We go vertical down. We fake out sellers at the low. This is just signifying that people that are selling low are getting trapped. And this is exactly why I don't sell low on the day and I don't sell low on the week, because it doesn't make sense to me. It's not rational. Why would I sell low? So the trade can happen as much as it wants to, but I know that selling low is a bad practice. I would rather sell high. So, boom, we are trapping sellers that's selling low just to reverse back in the inside, right? And then usually it'll do a nice pullback. And a lot of the times it'll happen at 10 a.m. club, especially for indices. Especially for indices. I see it happen all the time. So just look for a higher high, a vertical move down, and then an immediate reversal back in the inside, giving you the higher low, right? And you won't know it is a higher high in the inside of this move, right? So look at this high and look at this high, right? So this will not be a true higher high. Matter of fact, let me just talk about this one first. This one you won't know, right? Because look, you have a lower low created. Technically, it's the trap. But if we're talking basic market structure, this is not a higher high until this breaks out. Now it's a higher high because we have a higher low, but it is not a higher high until it is broken out and we get another one. Now this is valid, and now we are on the backside. So this is a starter entry right here, anywhere in here. Once you see it reversing, so let's say I'm super confident in my strategy and I just take this on a regular, right? A lot of the times people that already know that this is happening, they're taking it somewhere in here. Sometimes I take it here. Other times I'll wait for a pullback and take it here. This is the safer entry. By 10 a.m., usually the trade or price should already be going in its direction. So a lot of the times you'll see the pullback for 10 a.m. Same thing as the sells, right? The reversals for sells. Lower low starts the trade. We go vertical at a level. It could be the previous day's high. We immediately reverse. So as soon as this happens, right? As soon as it hits this level, I'm dropping down to my 3-minute time frame, or maybe you trade a 5-minute, or maybe you're on the one, doesn't matter. 1 minute doesn't matter. Time frame doesn't matter. It's whatever you see it the cleanest on, and maybe you want to go lower in time frame so that you can get better risk to reward. But for me, it's seeing this, then this, And then as soon as it gets here to this level, mind you, I'm on my 15-minute time frame looking at this. Then I drop down to a lower time frame for entry. Entry only. Not to see what's happening, not to see every zigzag. It is for entry. When I go to the 3 to 5, I'm looking at 15-minute rotations, and that's all, that's it. The reason why people lose is because they base their stop loss off a 3-minute time frame or a 5-minute or a 1-minute time frame, and they're not looking at the 15-minute. Because if I'm looking or analyzing on a 15-minute time frame and I'm just using my entry time frame for the 3 or the 5, I'm not going to put my stop loss behind 3-minute structure, behind 1-minute structure. I'm not doing that. I'm going to put my stop loss above 15-minute structure, not 3-minute. So don't get so caught up in the lower time frames. You just need to see the pattern. When it hits the level, go down to your lower time frame and then count 15-minute rotations, and then take engulfings or pin hammers at that level. Now, let's say you want to take the conservative or just, the safer entry somewhere right here. Then usually it'll happen around 10 a.m. club for indices, right? But this pattern stays the same. It'll always stay the same. Which pattern are you hunting for? Personally, I stay on the 15-minute for everything. Sometimes I zoom out to the 4-hour just to see what bigger picture seems to be doing. Okay, yeah, I know a lot of people that do that. It's whatever time frame works for you. Sometimes I do stay on the 15-minute. If I feel like I'm in a choppy environment, I'll definitely stay on the 15-minute just to see that, so I won't get caught up. I see this pattern a lot when price is rising, make upward, close and breakout. London sweeps Asia, then New York goes up. Yeah, yeah. What you're describing is somewhat of a 3-session pattern, but you will see that a lot, especially on indices and metals. So that's primarily what I trade, but just keeping those patterns in mind will make you a better trader. And again, the only variable in the only variable is the trader. That's a fact. The only variable is a trader. Again, I have a lot of people coming to me saying they're tired, they're confused, they don't understand what Stacey's saying, they don't understand why they watch his videos and still get confused afterwards. And when they try to implement it on their own, they're even more confused and frustrated because they keep saying they're losing, they're losing, they're losing, but they're not understanding that Stacey isn't telling you how. He's literally just dropping the foundations for you. And it's up to you to take this out of what he said and create this and make it your own. And it's not up to him to teach you how to trade. That's not his job. His job is to come on YouTube and spread his knowledge and what he knows and just give you guys a foundation for you to flourish off of, which he has did. He has given you a good foundation. But what people do is they do what they want to do. They want to trade both setups. They over leverage their accounts. They let emotions take over in the live market. It's not Stacey doing that. Stacey's a good trader because he's literally mastered himself. That's what you're missing. You're not mastering yourself. You're trying to master a strategy without mastering yourself. And you can't do that. You have to. I've been trading for 7 years and I've only been profitable for about maybe a year. That says something. It means that I've been sitting here going on YouTube, clicking a bunch of courses, going through a bunch of mentorships, trying to figure out, oh, what's the best? Why do I keep doing this and I keep losing? When whole time it's because I keep bouncing from strategy to mentor to strategy to mentor. And I'm not realizing that I can master a strategy all day. There's so many strategies on YouTube that are probably profitable. But will people actually put in the work? I don't know. That's up to the trader. So master yourself first and then master the strategy. Because regardless of how the strategy works, you can still blow it up. You can blow your account just by doing something crazy like, okay, I lost, so let me double my amount the next time. Okay, now I got to sit here and try to make what I lost just back. So I'm going to press the button 3 more times. Now I'm mad because I blew my account and now I'm saying it doesn't work. And why can't I see a success? But then when somebody asks you, hey, what's wrong? You say the strategy, but then I ask you about risk management and you go quiet. That's just not how it works, guys. So master yourself first because you decide your future, not nobody else. Nobody owes you anything. But what are you going to do to change your life, your family's life, your kids' life, whatever it is that you want to accomplish with the trading? Okay, so that's what I have to say about that. Now, again, you're either a pump and dump trader, right? So if you're a pump and dump trader, lower low starts the trade, then you'll get lower lows in the inside. Study the pattern recognition. That's going to be what you need to study. Like this week, that's the only thing I'll be focusing on. If you don't have a playbook, you are not setting yourself up for success. I don't know how you're getting constant reps in this if you don't have a playbook, but that's where you need to start. You need to be screenshotting the trades that you should have took this week, put it in a playbook, a file on your computer, and look over that before you start the trading week. Because I do the same thing every week. I'm looking at my playbook and I'm seeing what trades could I have taken. That's how you get better in the market. So pump and dump, lower low starts the trade, lower lows in the inside. Dump and pump, higher high starts the trade, higher highs in the inside. Very distinct patterns, two different patterns, two ways to make money. Two ways. Choose one because they both work, but it's up to you, right? So I hope that helped. I'm going to hop on the charts and we're going to see some moves that played out this week, guys. And I'm going to go over this pattern recognition. What is your setup? So I'm going to stop the screen sharing, share my chart. This is nice. All right, can everybody see my chart? I had to learn here, phase 3 trading and sniper. Then I started to understand Stacey Burke. Honestly, and I appreciate your support, I literally did not understand Stacey until I really started to understand market structure. And then I was working with Sniper a lot. Shout out Sniper Trades. He's a really good mentor. Really good mentor. But once I started studying market structure, honestly, that's when it started to click for me. So I was like, oh, and then I went back to Stacey and I was like, now I understand what he's talking about, because some things he doesn't really go into detail on. But if you know a little bit about market structure, then it makes it a bit easier. So here we have Nas, right? How do you confirm if the low or the high is in place for the day? I'll let you know that in a second. So, okay. And Nas, right? We had a pump and dump template. Remember, all you have to do is put a trend line on Monday's high, right? Monday is opening range. We know Monday is day 1. Monday is day 1. Put a line on the high and the low of Monday so you can see what type of template you're trading throughout the week, right? So we know that this was pretty much a news week. I really didn't trade that much this week because I don't want to trade in front of news anymore. I just don't. I don't think it's good practice, and that's not something I want to get used to. So for me, I broke even early in the week, and then I took a trade towards the end of the week. I ended up taking USD CAD, and no, I didn't. I took gold, and I end up making 3% for the week. So again, I only take 3 trades a week, and it's easier. It's no stress. And at the end of the day, it's plenty of opportunity to make money. And I only have to be 20 to 30% profitable for a 1 to 3. So that's easy, right? Anyways, we have day 1 breaching the high. This is Monday's high, right? We have day 1 longs, day 2 longs, right? So now we're on a 3-day long pattern. On the week, remember, you're going to get a pump and dump template, or you're going to get a dump and pump template. But if I got 2 days of longs and I'm at the high of the week, right? And I breached Monday's high and closed in the inside. And on day 3, this is the perfect example of 3-day long pattern. On day 3, you wanted to breach the high again, 3-day longs. On a Wednesday, day 3, either reversal or trend day, right? So on day 3, you get a perfect coil at the top. This is literally what Stacey looks for, right? He was just saying this in his newest video. But anyways, we have a breach of the previous day's high on day 3, and then we start to coil. This is what Stacey means when he says that price can only go in one direction at this point. You've already had your signal. We breached. We're coiling. This is Asia low, London high. This is the perfect. This is literally perfect. This is the perfect scenario. So how I would trade this, right, is again, what's this pattern? Pump and dump. What's the version of it? Reversal, right? So you don't really get the reversal trade until maybe gap time, honestly. This is London. London is coiled. After London closed, we still were in a coil. And then we made a lower low in the inside. Lower low in the inside, right? So this is 3-day long signal. That's the signal. You get a lower low in the inside, and then you start to drop after that. So New York opens up. Again, I wait till after 9:30 to trade New York. Now I do. Before, I was like trying to search for a trade earlier, but it's just not good practice, guys. So I'm going to stick to after 9:30. But we start dumping down, dumping down. Now, mind you, I'm looking at basic market structure, right? So what's my most recent high or low? It's this one. It's this one, right? Because if we're looking higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, fail, lower low. Okay. So once we break this, mind you, I marked this because this low created this high. This is a whole expansion leg, right? Low, high. When we break this, we have now a lower low. Why? Because before, right here, right? This was our low of day. This is Asia's low. This is our low of day. We have now just broke it and made a lower low. Does the coil lock in the peak formation high? Honestly, this locked in the peak formation right here, this little peak right here. But yes, it does. But when you can clearly see that you are, this is why you need signals too, by the way. Signals are important too. So if I know that this is a 3-day long pattern, depending on the type of signal that you trade, once I get the coil up here, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I got Asia low, London high. We got a coil up top, lower low in the inside. It's no brainer after that. So once it breaks the low of day level, it makes a lower low. I'm only thinking sell at that point. So on this day, we actually pull back, and I saw this happening with my community. I just wasn't interested. Why? Because I need confirmation. I'm either taking a break and retest trade, or I'm taking an equal high trade. And this is where people mess up with trends. Because for me, just getting in off of this engulfing candle right here is not enough for me, because it can very much well hit this low and just pull back and then go. What I need is to either take a retest trade, or I need to take an equal high trade. That is what I like to take, because I need to see the lower low start my move. I need to see it either retest the high or retest the breakout, because I like a retest. I don't just go off the first signal. Like a lot of the times, me going off of that first signal, sometimes it doesn't work because it'll want to pull back and play. And even after 9:30, so this was 9:30. This was after news. 9:30 was right here. So once I saw this happening and we were already back down here, I was like, this it's not something that I want. I knew we had range to get back down because I'm targeting the low of the week. However, I just didn't like this entry. So by the time we got this, it was already gap time. And I'm trying to make it mechanical for myself, right? I'm trying to clock in and clock out. My shift is 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. I am not staying for overtime. So this right here, I just stayed out the trade. Not only that, but we also had news again at 2 o'clock. So either way, I would have missed out on this opportunity regardless. So that's how you have to approach this, right? It's not, I'm just going to take a trade just because I want to take a trade. I'm going to take a trade and put myself in the best position, right? Does the coil, okay, I already answered that. How do you start counting to 3-day longs? You start by doing this. You want it to breach the high. So here we breached the previous day's high. This is day one longs. We also close as a bullish candle. Day two, we breached the previous day's high again, and we close as a bullish candle. So day three, you wanted to breach the high again and then reverse. That's how you trade 3-day longs. You start the 3-day count from the close and breakout to the upside. It doesn't necessarily have to close and breakout. These are still 3-day longs without closing and breakout. So it's just when it breaks the high and it closes as a bullish candle. Just like how this is 3-day shorts. It actually closed in breakout, but it's still reversed. It just needs to breach the previous day's low. That's all it needs to do. And it needs to close bearish. So again, it just depends on how specific you want to make your rules. But for me, breach, breach, breach again. We have longs in the market, longs trapped up high for the nice sell. Boom. That's all that I'm looking for as far as that signal. And again, look at how the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday ramps up all of this liquidity just for the backside to completely demolish everybody's stops. When price reverses, they're going for stops. So you know what I call these lower lows? I mean, these higher lows? Ammunition, gas. Look at how fast this was. They're going for stops from all the people that long on the front side of the week. I get you as long as a higher high is created. Yes, sir. Higher high, dump, coil, pump. You see what I'm saying? Higher high, dump, coil, pump. That is what starts a dump, coil, pump. Are the big guys watching SB videos too, knowing well we are sitting for trades at the time? They could be, but it's, what can they do? That's like telling, fire traders on prop firms to stop trading. Prop firms probably aren't going nowhere, and we've already figured out. We're going to figure out the cheat codes eventually. They probably already know this, but they also know that there's a bunch of retail traders that still have risk management issues. So it doesn't matter how well you know a strategy. They know that you know the concepts, but what they have over you as an advantage is risk management. And that they know that people are not going to follow their rules. They're not going to stick to their risk management rules. So they're going to burn you every time, just like this, right? Now we know that, guess what? A lower low is going to start a pump coil dump. A lower low is going to start a pump coil dump. I need lower lows in the inside. Do you see the pattern now? Lower low starts to move, lower lows in the inside. Boom, that's it. So even on this day, right? I'm like, okay, we've already broken Monday's low. Monday's low is right here. So at this point, I know that a lower low starts to pump coil dump, but I'm not interested in selling the market down low. That's not my principle. So I didn't take this trade. I saw it happening, but for one, even in the gap, even in New York session, right? This is Nas. So we had a lower low here, which is perfect, right? Because we've literally breached the previous day's low. Lower low, pump, coil. Look at this. This is a trend trade. You're already on the backside. It's all going to make sense now, guys. Lower low starts the trade. Pump up, coil. Now, what are we looking for? Lower lows in the inside, right? Let's say I'm taking a reversal trade. What higher low failed? This one. Draw it across. Draw that higher low across. Look what we do. Lower low in London. We pump back up. A lot of people chase this move. I don't know why. They get confused like, oh, but now I see a bullish candle right here. And so what? You just got a lower low. And we know lower lows start the trade. You're in the inside of this move. So we pump up. Now we're getting side-by-side candles at closing price at the break of structure level. Engulfment at 4:15 a.m. So again, look for these opportunities. Lower low, pump and dump. Lower low. We're still in the inside of this move. Now we're on the back side. So again, what do I look for on the back side? So if you forgot, you're going to have to go back in the video once I post it. But I'm looking for break and retest trades. If it does not do this or this, I'm not taking the trade. Why? Because I already know how price moves. I already know how price moves. Okay. Price can do this. Price can do this. Am I taking the trade then? I have no supporting evidence that this is going to continue to go down. How do you know? You don't know. Okay, so what? It still went down, but did it retest? It didn't. That's not part of my rules, right? But if it did something like this, I'm taking the trade. Why? Because guess what? I'm at a lower high. You see what I'm saying? So it's either you're going to settle or you're going to take what you know. And that is how you create a trading plan. That's how you do it. Because guess what? You are waiting for your plan, for what you see, for what you know is a known fact. Breakout, pullback, trend. Guess what? It does it again. Breakouts, pullback, trend. Trends do this. So higher high, lower low is for the first mousetrap entry. Second mouse gets the cheese. Exactly. You know, it is what it is. First mouse gets the trap. Second mouse gets the cheese. That's going to fly over a lot of people's head. But again, this was just a simple pump, coil, dump. There are going to be traders that will trade every single day. And then there's going to be traders that'll wait for a signal at the high of the week and then add size. And what their signal is, what their setup is, they already know what to look for because it's a break and retest trade from the backside. They already know this. So you need to pick your battles, right? So let's go to US 30. Let's go to US 30. US 30 probably looked like the same thing. US 30 was yes, US 30 did the same thing. 1, 2. The only thing US 30 didn't do is breach the high. That's what I didn't like about US 30. So I didn't look at it this day because that's not part of the rules. I need on the third day for price to breach the high again and then sell. It did give us a nice sell, but I would have considered this a nail and bail. Why? Because we're still in the inside of the range. Is it okay to trade close and breakout reversal above previous week high? Yeah, you're at the previous week's high. That's a level for sure. Is that high probable? Of course it is. You're at a weekly level. When you're at weekly levels and you see this happening, you're looking for this. Those are high probability ACB ain't coming back trades, right? So again, you're inside the range. I wasn't looking for this because it didn't breach the high. But you can trade this. Why? Because it's at the high of day. And remember, I'm either going to sell the high of day or the previous high of day. I would rather breach the high because that is the signal. So if I don't see that, I'm not trading the signal. However, on the day, it gives you a Asia low, London high. We've coiled, we've broken, and we've retested. It was a little small retest right here, probably on a smaller time frame. So let's go to a 3-minute. Again, it's the same thing, pattern recognition, right? You got pump, coil, dump, lower lows in the inside, lower low, pump, coil, break, and retest. And it's literally that simple. Am I getting in right here? No, I'm not. I'm not getting in right there. Am I getting in here? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Am I getting in right here? Heck yeah. Why? Because I recognize this. Breakout, lower low, pump, retest, boom. That is what I'm comfortable with. I'm not settling for this. I'm not settling for this. I'm taking this. So again, you just need to get really specific on what you like to see. That is the key. So let's look at Euro JPY. Let's look at Euro JPY. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart. All right. Well, I can do another 10 minutes of this, guys, and then I have to get off. I have something to do in about 30 minutes. But here, I see a nice pump and dump and a dump and pump. What are you looking for? So let me explain both, right? Here, we had 3 days of shorts. Look at this peak formation that was created at the weekly low, the previous weekly low. As soon as we broke this, mind you, look at this. This is a trap and shift. We've went vertical and then we've reversed. And you see this? Higher high, boom. That is a trap and shift. You have 1, 2, 3, boom. So this is a nice 3-day short reversal pattern right on Monday. Again, Monday closes, draw Monday's high across. It's a new week now, but you know that you just had a signal play out on Monday. Draw that across. All right. This is also closed as, let's see. Would you call this a first green day? Yeah, you would call that a first green. You would definitely call that a first green day. So we had a first green day on Monday. Boom. So I know that Tuesday is probably going to expand the range, right? It's going to expand the range. I'm not trading on Tuesday. I'm just looking to see what it's doing because now, guess where we're at? We're up high. For me personally, I want to sell up high. So I'm looking for a signal. I'm looking for a signal, guys. And the signal that I see is that we've had 1 day close and breakout. Now it's day 3. This is day 3 now. And I'm looking for a reason to sell because I'm up high on the week. Close and breakout. I'm looking for the reversal trade. I got lower lows in the inside. I got lower lows, right? Lower low starts to trade. Boom. Lower low starts to trade. We pump up. Now we're at a level. A lot of the times, guys, it's best to wait for previous daily levels to get breached. When you're looking for levels, you need to be at these levels, previous day high, previous day low, closing price, or even round numbers. Was a first red day on Wednesday? Yes, it was a first red day. So again, we got a lower low. We pumped up to the previous day's high. Now we're just looking at timings, levels, and behavior price, right? So I know that I'm in an uptrend because a pump and dump is just an uptrend turning into a downtrend, right? So if I'm trying to look for an opportunity in New York session, so let me just go to the 3-minute and show you why this was terrible. It was terrible. Because for one, we didn't get to sell until the gap time. But if I'm looking at this, right, and I know that a lower low starts my trade, and I need to see lower lows in the inside of the move. By the time, okay, so let's see, EJ starts, we'll start looking at 9 a.m. That's when I usually start looking. So by 9 a.m., I got the pump. I got lower lows in the inside, right? But when it starts, remember, the lower and the inside will start your trade pattern. So when I get this lower low, it pumps up. Lower low, it's going to pump first. It's going to pump first. So did we get the trade pattern in time? No, we didn't. We did not. This is a lower low, but we were pumping first. It was not ready. It was not ready. Once we stop hunted and then we broke back in the inside, right? I'm looking at that. This is my high. Then we fail and then we start reversing back in the inside. So when this happens, when we get this lower low, a lot of people would be trying to enter here or they'll sell as soon as it get right here. But I'm still looking. I know the lower low starts my trade. I need lower lows in the inside. The lower lows in the inside start my trade pattern. It was not ready. Simple as that. Even if you look at it and say, this is a lower low on the inside, and then you're looking for lower lows in the inside of this pump, there's no lower lows. Front side, back side, front side, back side. Just like if we was to look at this, because look, price is fractal. And on top of that, right, this is for the guy that asked, how do I know highs and lows are locked in? You know highs and lows are locked in by peak formations. So if I can see that I'm still going higher, that means that the high is not locked in. And if it's still not locked in and I come to my session, then I'm looking for a peak formation, quote unquote, stop hunt, peak formation. So again, let's say I didn't see any of this, but I do know I'm going higher. Is the high locked in yet? It is not locked in. So what we are waiting for is for a peak formation, aka stop hunt, to be created so we can sell, because we need stops to be hit, right? Because we're thinking smart money. We are not trying to just look for anything. I need an indication to sell. So the only way I feel safe selling is if I know we have locked in the high and then I start to sell, even if you look at it on a 15-minute chart. So let's go here. You wouldn't know until this happened. You would not know at all. So be careful. You can get tricked up, and that's okay. Sometimes I get tricked up, but just understand the pattern. It's not always going to be clean. Sometimes it's going to be ugly. And then there are times where sometimes it's going to be so beautiful. It's going to be unmistakable. This is unmistakable because of this. It's break and retest. That's all it is. So again, just be mindful of the type of template that you're in, and be mindful of you buying high or selling low, because that's not what we want to do. We want to sell high and buy low. Can you see that it worked out here? Again, this is just me marking Monday's levels. This is not me saying, well, how, this is just in hindsight. How do you know? Da, 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 da. I know because I've marked my opening range, and I know I'm up high and I know I'm down low. Simple as that. I know that this is my previous weekly level. Look what we're doing. This is Thursday, right? Thursday. We have a close and breakout to the downside. We're down low. Do I want to sell down low? I do not want to sell down low. I just don't. So if I know that I'm taking a reversal trade and this is a close and breakout and I know I'm trying to buy, what do I need to see? I need to see structure broken. Hello, right here. This is the lower high that failed. Lower high, fail, breakout, break a structure, pull back. What did it do here? Coil at the break of structure level, right? All of this price is just in the inside of this high and this low. So we literally dump back down, try to retest that low, and we pump again. Higher highs now. Now we're on the backside. So how would you enter on Thursday, please, as a first red day? Thursday is not a first red day. Thursday is not a first red day. I would not call Thursday a first red day. Wednesday is a first red day. Wednesday is definitely a first red day. I think you meant, did you mean Wednesday instead? Because this is Wednesday, first red day. So the next day, I'm just looking to trade at either the high of day or the previous high of day. But look at this, though. Look at this. If I'm in a situation like this, this is EJ. EJ was not ready to sell yet, right? But look what we happened on the day. What do? We breached the previous day's low. When we breached the previous day's low, that's a lower low. It literally did that on the first open, the first candle that opened up. So when we did that, we pulled back up, right? I'm taking reversal. So what am I looking for? A break of structure. This higher low failed. Draw that across. A lot of the times it will retest it. So when you draw the break of structure level across, look what it does. Now you're going down, right? Now you have a lower low. So when you get a lower low, you already breached the previous day's low again and made another lower low. It's simple. Lower low starts to trade. Pump up. Now you got lower lows in the inside, which starts the trade pattern. Get out where the pump started. And that's all you have to do. You just need to know what scenario you're in. It's either you're going to be in a reversal situation where you're retesting the break of structure, or you're going to be already on the backside taking trend trades, right? So if I was looking at New York session and EJ, all it was this. And people try to make it so complicated. They've tried to make this so complicated, but we already know what a reversal does and we know what a trend does. So why should we make it even more complicated than this? Because this is the simplest it's going to get. Trend pattern. We've breached the previous day's high. We're at a level. We're already on the other side. We're on the right side of the EMA. Breakout, coiling above. This is just a break and retest. We are respecting lows. We're respecting lows. As long as I respect my lows, that's all that matters. Even this, not to point this out, but I mean, I'm not taking the first, this is in the middle of nowhere. But if it makes another higher high and it dumps back down to the most recent low, I'm taking that trade. I'm taking that because I've confirmed it. I'm locking in the higher low. Think about it that way. I've locked in the higher low. For here, I've locked in the higher low. I've broken out. I've retested. I got a nice pin coming right off of the breakout level. So that's what you guys need to be looking for. You're in multiple situations here. Look at this, right? You looking at templates throughout the week. You should know what type of template you're in. This is Monday's high. Monday's high. Monday's low. As soon as Monday closes, draw your levels across. You should not be taking trades on Monday. Monday is opening range. Why take trades on Monday if it's opening range? You're not going to have your box yet. Boom. We close and breakout, right? This is Monday. Close and breakout on Tuesday. Now we're above. Close and breakout Wednesday. Look how many close and breakouts there are. If I know that I'm pumping up front side of the week, hello, I'm looking for liquidity on the back side. This is all one weekly candle. Think about that. When a candle forms, what's going to form first? The wick, then the body. I'm pumping up front side of the week for the collapse on the back side of the week because I'm following signals, multiple days of breakouts. This is literally what Stacey looks for. Multiple days of breakouts. And then on the back side, he's taking the reversal. He's just taking the reversal. And it's all coming from, look at that. It's regular market structure. Now, once we get this, look what happens. Lower low. We breached the previous day's low. Now sell. Now sell. Look what you're retesting. Look what happened. You just breached the previous day's low. It can be as simple as you saying, okay, I mark Monday's high, Monday's low, breakout of Monday. Okay, breakout again. Wow, we're really up high. Now I need a signal to sell. Oh, I got a first red day after we breached the previous day's low, lower low, lower low, pump, coil, dump. Because now you have a signal to sell. You're not selling blindly. You're waiting for your signals to do the work for you. And you just come on the charts and you choose your session and you say, okay, if I know I'm in a reversal, if I'm in a reversal situation, I need to take a break and retest of the structure that's breaking it. You can take it here at these levels. You can take it from the break of structure level because you're in a reversal situation. Either way, look at the levels that you're taking it from. So that's what you need to look at. What template are you trading every week? Thank you for the knowledge. I appreciate you for the support. No problem. I got that EJ trade. Dang. It was a good buy. It was a good buy. This right here, you talking about this right here? On Wednesday? Let me see. Somebody else said they got that EJ trade. 3.7 R. That's amazing. That's amazing. Imagine you adding size to that and only taking that once or twice a week. Come on. You can do it. I don't know if you do it already, but that's all you need right there. Again, it's going to be peak formations locking in these highs and lows. You're looking for M's at the top, W's at the bottom, V shapes at the bottom, A tops at the top. And you're literally just seeing what price is doing once it gets there. If you're trading the weekly template, mark Monday's high, Monday's low, and see what Monday is doing. Look, Same thing it did here. Close and breakout, right? And then you got a false break on Wednesday in a first red day, right? We breached the previous day's low. It usually happens like that. It'll breach the previous day's low, pump and dump. What template are you in? What template are we in? Front side? Front side, really front side too. Monday was very small in range. Holy, Monday was really small in range. This one was a good one. Just marking this high, right? I'm just marking it. I'm just marking it. This one closed in breakout. This one closed in breakout. Now we have a first red day at the high. That's why people are getting confused. They're not waiting for the signal to sell. They're not waiting for the signal to buy. They're just hopping in blindly and they're not using the signals correctly. They're not using them. Some people don't even use the signals at all. Look, this is a 3 push pattern. 1, 2, 3, go. Like, you need to look for these patterns that lock in the lows and lock in the highs. That's the key. So just get your reps in. Like, keep looking at it, keep studying these patterns, do your reps, back test on FX replay or trading view, and really study these patterns, print them out so that you can understand how they work, because they work the same way every time, right? So here, this was chop. Would I have taken this one? No. Would I have taken this one? I don't know. Let me see. This one didn't necessarily retest this high. So, I mean, it retested this one. It did retest this one. This one would have been a maybe for me. Maybe. Man, EJ been selling. Look at this one. Just waiting for weekly templates. We got a close and breakout, a first red day trade. We breached a low. London got the best one. And then we got New York with that baby retest right there. But this one was nice. You're literally selling high and you're buying low. You're buying low. Sell high, buy low. Wait for signals to tell you to sell. Wait for signals to tell you to buy. If I'm dumping down, right, front side of the week, now I get an inside day, right? Now I try to break out the low, but then I fail to break out. Now I got a first green day. Then I breach the high the next day. I dump, I coil at that most recent higher low. And I pump up, higher high again, dump, coil, pump, higher high again, dump, coil, pump, higher high. I can keep saying it. But you need a signal that's going to tell you to buy, right? You need a signal that's going to tell you 3-day longs to sell. Please have a look at AUD/USD. Was trying to buy on Friday and got burnt. Thought I was a first green day signal. You said AUD/USD. AUD/USD was really good. I think it was the previous week before that one. For sales, yeah. Let's look at AUD/USD. You said you were trying to take a first green day, buy on Friday. Okay. This is not a first green day. I'm going to tell you why it's not a first green day. For one, Monday's low is all the way up here. I mean, all the way down here. This is not a first green day because you're still inside the range. Look at this. This is Monday's high. I would not call this the first green day because you're not even, where's the trapped sellers? There's no trapped sellers yet. You're still going lower. You're breaching daily lows. So again, you want to breach, first of all, you need to be looking for first green days and first red days at weekly levels. They need to be at weekly levels, no exceptions. So this one wouldn't be a good first green day because you're in the inside of this move. And if you're looking right here, we got the first red day, but we didn't breach the low until here. So when we breach the low, then we get the trade. Another thing is that people think that because they get a first red day, that the trade is supposed to happen the next day. And that's not always the case. You can even look at Stacey's most recent videos and he'll tell you, like, The first red day or the first green day trade does not always happen the next day. Sometimes it takes another day for it to set up. Because look, previous day low was breached, pump, coil, dump. Lower low starts to trade, lower lows in the inside after the coil, lower low, pump, and dump. Where's the break of structure? The higher low. Let's find the higher low that failed. Here, here. We could say it was this one or the other one. Doesn't matter. Break and retest. Here, break and retest. We're on the backside. Again, it's simple stuff, but this is definitely you need that first green day to be trapping sellers at the low of the week. Do you ever lose phase? Stacey said it's almost impossible to lose on the high. It's almost impossible to say that he, well, let me not say that. I lose. For sure I lose. Stacey loses too. And that's one of the things that I feel like is giving people a false sense of hope, right? It's when he says 90-10 setups, because it's not going to be 90-10 setups for everybody. I lose all the time. But for me, I'm not trading all the time. So I know how to make it to where my risk is like my safety blanket. It's like I can lose 2 times, right? I'm only taking 3 trades. I lose 2 times. But if I win once, it wipes away all my losers and I'm up 1%. And that's all I need. Or if I'm breaking even 2 times throughout the week, that last trade, now I'm up 3% on the week. So I lose for sure. I lose. One time, I think last week, I fell asleep on a trade and almost blew my account. Like I literally fell asleep on my trade. So yeah, if you, it was because I was trying to trade London session and I literally fell asleep. And I was like, dang, because usually I'm trying to like manage my risk. You know, if I'm just looking on the charts, of course, I'm just, I'm gonna be trying to manage my risk better. If I see it invalidating, I'll get out. But I wasn't able to do that. And the funny thing is that it went in my direction. I just got stop hunted. So, it sucked, but we, you definitely lose in this game for sure. I just think that him saying 90-10 setups is giving people such a false sense of hope because it's like it's not going to be 90-10 setups for everybody, you know? So it's first green day, first red day, and for false break reversal, all one template. No, it's not. Don't think of that as the templates. First red day, first green day, and false breaks are signals. So here we have a pump and dump template. The templates are the pump and dumps and the dump and pumps. Those are the only 2 templates. Those are the only 2 setups. But the first red day and first green day are going to signal you that it's setting up. So for instance, we have a first red day here, right? The signal is that, or no, let's not talk about the first red day. Let's talk about the 3-day longs, right? It's the same thing. It's going to signal you to sell the next day. That it's just screaming at you saying, hey, look, you got your first part, you got your second part. Now it's time to take the trade. Same thing for a dump coil pump template. It's signaling you, hey, it's about time. You got the dump, you got the coil, now get in the trade. Yeah, no problem. So a first red day, a low starts the trade and vice versa for green. Yes, sir. So for instance, with this first red day, right? A lot of the times it'll happen like this. We'll breach the previous day's low and then we'll pump, coil, and dump. That's what you want to see. Sometimes it happens here and it happens in the inside. And then you dump, just like kind of how Asia did, right? Because I think it did. It did breach the previous day's low. We pumped up and then we dumped down. Other times, like you're on the backside, so of course you're just taking the trend trade here, this was a cool trend trade. It's technically at the high, but this was a nice pump, coil, and dump trade. So yes, the first red day and first green day, you just need to make sure that you're taking them at the right levels, which are the weekly and the monthly levels. Those are the only levels that you're supposed to be looking at, okay? For those signals. A plus B equals C. Hey. You said it. But yes. I want to show a better examples of buys. What can I go to? USD CAD. Let me show the USD CAD trade that I had like told my community I was only looking at that one for Friday, and it didn't even happen until the gap time. But this is exactly what I was looking for, right? So I knew that we had 2-day longs. We were at the high, right? This was what I was looking for Friday. So I'm looking at this. It's about 840. And I'm like, I wanted to go all the way up here and then give me the sell. But then I was like, it's kind of unrealistic for me to say that it's going to pump all the way up here then sell. And it literally did that. But I only take sell setup. So I was looking at this buy and I'm like, dang, I could have, taken this because I knew this was going to happen, but I was waiting for my setup. So again, I was waiting for it to sweep these highs so I can sell. I wanted it to get to the previous day's high, but I put a box around it because I'm like, oh, it might not get all the way there. But it tried to get there, and look how it closed. A pin hammer. Boom. Back down to the previous day's low. So this is all started from a lower low. When you break the previous day's low, you will pump up, you'll coil, and you'll dump. Previous day high to previous day low trade. But we didn't get that. We just got the pump for New York. So again, sometimes your sessions won't align with your trade, right? But we just have to accept that fact. So this strategy is all about what you're hurting. Stick to your plan, rinse and repeat. Yeah. You really need to stick to your plan for sure. Like that's going to save you. These signals to 3-day longs, that will save you from taking any type of trade, because we're not just trying to take trades all week. This was a nice, look at this one. This was a nice dump coil pump template. Remember, there's only 2 templates. Dump coil pump, or pump and dump. Well, I didn't do it here. It was mostly a dump coil pump this time. But here, dump coil pump, you're looking for a signal to buy at the low of the week. You're looking for a signal. So Monday opens up. Monday's range is from here. Let me just mark it. From here to here. We know by Tuesday, either the high or the low is going to hold, right? So this is actually a day 0 type of template, right? We just have consolidation, and Thursday, we take off. We just take off. But here, right? Do you notice something? 1, 2, 3 push pattern right here. I noticed that. I don't know. I just kind of pointed that out. So again, we got Monday's low, Monday's high. We're inside of Monday. Remember, I'm not doing anything until I see a signal that's going to tell me when to buy. We get a first green day at the low of the week. We've got all these sellers that bought low. They're stuck. They're stuck now. Look how low you are. You're low. So I got sellers trapped at the low of the week. Boom, we close as a first green day, right? So I'm thinking dump coil pump the next day. That's the only trade I'm taking for a first green day trade. So again, we have Asia high, London low, higher highs in the inside of the dump. Higher highs now. So when we get to New York, it just takes off. It takes off. We breached the previous day's high, which means a true higher high. Dump back down, and then we just pump. This is a nice pin coming right off the EMA. You're already on the back side, so you're just looking for break and retest trades, or you're looking to retest the higher low. In this case, I don't know if I would call this one. Yeah, you might as well, because the wick is all the way down here. But you could have took this nice pin coming right off of the previous day's high, the EMA, the breakout level, whatever you want to call it. This is a nice pin to take with, and you would have been rewarded, honestly. Higher high, dump, coil, pump, right? Higher high, breach of the previous day's high. Dump, coil, look where we're retesting, a higher low. Isn't that the pattern that I like to trade? Higher high is going to start the move. Dump, coil, pump. New York happens. What are we taking? We're taking the break and retest. That's all you need. That's literally all you need. What situation are you in? Are you trending? Are you reversing? Those are important things that you need to know. That's going to keep you safe. Even if you took the reversal here, look, I can go to a lower time frame and show you this. It does the same thing every single time. This is a known fact. This is the higher low. This is the lower high, sorry, that failed. We're at the most recent low. We're taking a reversal, breakout, higher high, dump down. Look at this pin hammer coming right off the break of structure level. Buy. That's all you have to do. What situation are you in? What setups are you taking? Get used to learning these pattern recognitions. Like, recognize these, because those are what's going to keep you safe. If I know that I'm in an uptrend, I have a higher high, and we pull back farther than the breakout level, and I know we're trending, I need my most recent higher low to be respected. Did we respect this? Yes, we did. We literally blast off, break the high and make a higher high, and we retest and keep going. So that's what you want to look for. Okay. So I hope this video gave you guys a lot of clarity, and I hope that this is going to help you. Whoever's confused, whoever needs extra help, I do one-on-one sessions. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break from my live sessions for YouTube, because I just feel like I want to zone in on my VIP and just my community members in general. So I'll kind of slow down a little bit as far as that. But if you need a community, you need support, because let's talk about it. Trading is lonely. It's not, you don't really have a lot of people around you besides on the internet that's trading, and you don't have that support. So that's why I tell people, I'm like, look, you need to join a community so we can hold you accountable, so we can help you and make sure you're taking these trades correctly. And what I'm saying, so we can grow together. That's the whole point. So if you need a community, I'm always available. I'm very active in my chat. You can join VIP. You get the indicator for free. You can do one-on-ones. My one-on-ones are on sale right now. They're actually, this is the last week that you can get my one-on-one. You can get 6 sessions for a huge 30% discount. So this is the last week as far as my VIP. That's 20% off. And then my one-on-one sessions are 30% off. So if I were you, I would take huge advantage of that. If you are a true Stacey Burke trader and you really want to learn this, take advantage of the services that are out there. If it's not mine, something, because it's better to be just to know what you're doing and not be confused all the time. Look at this. It literally does the same thing. This is the lower high that failed, and it'll retest it and keep going up. And that's how a trend starts. Trade, higher low, retest, pump up, right? So look, higher high, dump, coil, pump. It's the same thing. So if you guys need an environment to trade with, we are very accepting of any and everybody. If you're a beginner, whether you're a beginner or an advanced or just struggling in general, I have a lot of good people. Malcolm is doing exceptional. Al's doing exceptional. De Niro, El Chavo, Curtis. I got a lot of people in there. So come join, come get some help, whatever you need to do.